Hello everyone, my name is Rahma Hersi. I am the managing partner of AMWIK Consulting Limited. It's the first Islamic financial advisory firm in Eastern Central Africa, based in Nairobi, Kenya. My passion, my dream is to work with everybody and anybody who is interested in poverty alleviation and alternative finance. In my industry, Islamic finance, it's a $2 trillion industry that is growing at a 15 to 20% rate. Most of the people that we know in Africa and are the youth who would primarily benefit from this opportunity if we could find innovative, creative ways for them to tap into funding and financing. Not only that, but also to encourage an entrepreneurial spirit and creativity. Our continent looks to have a lot of infrastructure development and project finance in the next coming decade or so. Islamic finance or alternative or ethical finance offers an opportunity for that. And as a continental or international body, African Union should create platforms or initiate conversations on how our African continent can tap into this $2 trillion industry. And we can definitely not leave behind the growth and development of microfinance institutions, SMEs, where we don't look for only top-bottom growth, but also a bottom-to-top growth, where we're focusing on everybody in the community. And I think with this sort of ideas and focus, we can then say we're working towards chipping away at poverty in our continent and working towards poverty alleviation and reduction. Because until we solve the problem of lack of finance or no knowledge of where to get this finance, other rights and implementations of developmental programs become even more of a challenge. So this is what I always tell most of my colleagues and friends. Unless you have the finances, then we can talk about development and women in political space and youth leadership and growth. But if you don't have anything to back you, it becomes a bigger obstacle, and we have to find ways to work with that. And it's growing. It's an industry that's growing globally across the world.
Hello, my name is Paul Egoy. I'm Ugandan and a business person at the same time. And my message to the AU is it concerns the youth in East Africa. And having had the chance to move around East Africa and experience multicultural culture, I would say that my observations have been mainly in the area of developing a youth as a person, because we understand there's so much energy in the youth and there's so much ability that they can do. But if that youth, that strength, and is modeled to the way that will bring good, will emulate the society, the vices of the society, it will be a good thing. And this is, it comes as a show of good leadership, in my understanding, that if we have good leaders, then that is a product of the society. So my cry out to the AU is to embrace the youth and fund them in any way possible, most so the women and the youth who have the heart of this nation, of many nations. And I realize, again, it's the majority of many African countries consist of the youth. So it's a vote that I would go for if I'm given a chance to build countries, and that is my focus would be on the youth and developing them in any way possible that would see the nations change, not just looking at the hem and but looking at the grassroots and developing nations. My other point would be coming up with the desire to see men being young men being addressed, being given a platform to address their issues, because I realize that anybody who is not given a platform might be easily a time bomb. So we need to giving the youth ideas and platforms to speak and explore themselves to others who are out there and who are ready to listen to them and take up the challenges that they have. And in this, I believe that having embraced those two factors of mentorship and being given the youth being given the platform, I believe at the end of the day, as Africans, as East Africans, we'll be able to achieve what we all want to see: good leadership and a democratic environment that where everybody can be able to thrive and see development in this country.
I am Mrs. Charity Chepkwony from Nakuru County, Kenya. I'm very happy today to be in this meeting, and I wish to give a small request in our African leaders. This is the time the African parties supported women on political agenda. I want to say this. Women in Africa, this is your time to arise and shine. This is the time you have a chance to join in the political platform so that you will be part of the team which is to change other people's lives. Personally today, I want to confess I vying for the position of MP in Nakuru County, and I was number 2. And I wish to say this to my fellow women. It is very good when we are making good choices even of the parties which support women matters. I supported and campaigned for Jubilee government, and currently I'm thanking the President of Republic of Kenya. He has recently appointed me as a director, Kenya Literature Bureau. Therefore, when it comes to the matters of political matters in Africa, I'm requesting my fellow women and even our youths to make the right decision when choosing the parties. Otherwise, wrong choice of parties which don't support women issues should be forgotten. And my last comment to our women who are already who are elected in county assemblies, national assemblies, and in senates. To my fellow women, you're already empowered. Don't forget to empower your fellow women by ensuring that you have become the source of the information where your fellow women can be empowered, so that they get the right information of what is currently happening in whatever development matters. And another thing I'll be requesting our women in Africa, in Kenya, the issue of 2/3 gender rule, it has become hot cake, and I wish to request even the government of the day, let us support the women and gender matters for development of our Kenya and even Africa. Thank you very much. God bless you so much. Let's women and the youth not shy in joining political arenas and in supporting the right parties who can make good government. Thank you, Jubilee government in Kenya.
I'm Hulda Mengele from Kitui County, Kenya. I am also a final year law student at the University of Nairobi and a member of the Wiper Democratic Movement. I have participated in various elections campaign. I've also vied for an elective post in campus, and this presented me with an opportunity to see the kind of hardship that a woman undergoes in a bid to clinch elective leadership. My message to the African Union and my request is that if we can develop a model through which accomplished women, accomplished young people like the president of Burundi, the president of Mauritius can mentor other young people, because I believe the future of this continent is going to be secured through the training and mentorship of the people that are young today. If we can achieve such a model that will ensure continuity in good leadership, qualities will go a long way in securing our continent. I am proof of the Millennium Development Goal number 3, and I hope that the AU can develop also culture and Africa-specific goals that can apply to the African people, to the Kenyan people, and to develop a model law that can apply to African continents to ensure the inclusivity of women and actual realization and practical implementation of these laws, so that the countries will not only put in place such laws, but they will go all the way to ensure that these laws are implemented. I stand for women, I stand for youth, and I believe that the youth are the investment that will take our continent to the next level. Always proud to be African, always proud to be a woman.
Hello, my name is Kefangito. I live and work in Nairobi County. I work with an organization called Forum 43 Kenya. We do a lot of work on Article 43 of the Kenyan Constitution, basically on social and economic rights. So it means that I work a lot with people in marginalized places, informal settlements, rural areas, basically people who are disempowered. My opinion, my thought to the AU is that there is need to incorporate or to have systems that incorporate the lowest level of society to decision-making levels, at the decision-making levels, so that discussions that concern them can involve them, because it doesn't really matter how much high-level meetings happen if the people that are supposed to be represented are not taking part in those meetings. Again, the political system is not devolved as such in most parts of Africa, especially in Kenya. We need to have systems that get down to the level of society where those who need things, the things that matter to them, and here we're not talking about the big things of entrepreneurship. Sometimes we talk of those things, but we are talking about the very basic elements of life, like food, housing. Here we're still talking about housing, health, education, things that people need to live a day-to-day life. We need frameworks for this beyond the national level. We need frameworks for a regional level in Africa. We would also need to be able to hold our governments accountable to these things, but that would only be possible if the regional forum at an AU level would provide that kind of framework for these kind of people. So I generally want to send a message that it is time to involve people, young people, women, the disabled, the marginalized, those who cannot even express themselves in English or French, or for that matter, in this meeting, so that they can be able to converse and to bring the conversation at a regional level.
My name is Beldina Mamu Nandwa. I come from Kajiado County, which is in Kenya. And I have come to realize that women issues are national issues and they cannot be ignored. As a young leader from my county, which is a county that has very many young ladies who actually don't end up getting an education at the right time, I am an advocate of education and empowerment for young girls. Kajiado County is renowned in Kenya for having girls who undergo the female genital mutilation, and this makes them get married at a very young age. Being a woman and being a leader who understands this, having lived in that community, I would like the AU to come in regards to empowering the women, empowering our community, especially the men who still have the stereotype of that the women ought to be female, to undergo the female genital mutilation, which is right now it's not acceptable. We want them to be empowered to know that educating the girl child is educating a whole community. And more than that, at this currently in Kenya, we actually need just education. It's nothing major that we, the young current youth, need. We just need education. We need to be empowered, and at the end of the day, we need to be employed or to be empowered enough to be self-sufficient, so that the coming generation that is going to come won't have the fears of, am I going to go to jail due to lack of democracy in the community? Am I going to actually even reach the age of 35 because of A, B, C, or D? So I am advocating for empowerment for the young girl, for the youth, and for the women. And any leadership training that can come to my county, that is going to be a milestone towards having this achievement realized.
My name's Zuleika Juma Hassan. I'm a nominated Member of Parliament in the Kenya National Assembly. I come from a county called Kwale at the coast region in Kenya. I currently represent young people in the Kenya National Assembly, interested in issues of land, natural resources, also increasing young people's participation in governance, issues of health, issues of women empowerment, especially in decision making as well in terms of governance. My message with the African Union is to request the African Union to be more present on the ground around Africa, especially in giving young people around Africa a platform to be able to discuss solutions for the future. Young people, as we are aware, are more creative and more in touch with the realities on the ground, and they're able to bring new solutions for Africa so that Africa can shine as it should be. And that's my plea to the African Union.
Hi, my name is Lilian Mushoki. I'm the Executive Director of Sauti ya Jamii program. Sauti ya Jamii is an NGO that serves the youth and women, and we champion for an informed society. I'm also a member of the Network of Young Women Leaders. This is a group of more than 100 young women from Kenya. And my issue today is about the position of a young woman growing up in Kenya, and specifically growing up in Africa. You see, your identity is lost between being defined as a youth or being defined as a woman. But when you go to the youth side, just like any other sector of the society, women have not been able to achieve enough opportunities in decision making. But on the other side, when you go to the women's side, you are seen as just a girl, and you don't have that opportunity to exploit your skills and abilities. So my appeal to African Union is it possible to have programs that enshrine the position of a young woman growing up in Africa? Is it possible that in these youth programs that you have, which are many, to have those that are specific to women issues and issues of young women, so that they can be elevated and prepared for positions later in life? Because we have had to struggle in our different capacities, and in this society of today where technology is changing everything, it means that you have the ability to get into these positions as early as, say, even 19. We have seen politicians in Uganda who are as young as, less than 20 years old. But who builds their capacity? When a young woman gets into a position of leadership, maybe say in an NGO, in the social sector, in the financial sector and elsewhere, who builds their capacity and prepares them for this position? So my dream would be to have, like, say, training workshops that specifically target young women in positions of leadership, so that they can be ready to carry out their responsibility effectively. And again, I think also on the issue of the programs that have been initiated by African Union for youth. I think there's still not enough information on the ground. I'm aware about the African Union volunteers program, the issues of the Pan-African universities, and many other. But how many young people who are there at the grassroots know about this opportunity? And the thing is, this opportunity end up going to the urban youth, which I don't think meets the purpose for the programs. So I think that if there were more programs that go to the grassroots, that don't just stop in Nairobi, to make the youth aware of what is happening, make the youth aware of issues like the Agenda 2063, I think we would have a more active youth in terms of the issues that are coming up, not only in our country, but even in the continent. And I believe that once youth have been informed, that is the only time they take up the challenges. But if this information remains at the top, where it's not reachable, then we will keep on having the same discussions over and over and over without getting the results that you're looking for. Once again, my name is Lilian Mushoki, the Executive Director, Sauti ya Jamii Program.